If one is magnesium deficient, would it be a good idea to limit milk consumption? Because I heard that excessive calcium inhibits magnesium absorption in the intestines. Not really. Not really. We don't see that for populations anywhere around the world that are consuming, milk. So there's a lot of nonsense on that. It's like earlier I was talking about the glycine stuff. A lot of naturopaths believe, glycine, you'll actually just produce a lot of oxalate. Well, they did experiments, one back in 90, I can't remember, 94, 96. And then there was a recent one that I read in 21, and it pretty much came up with similar results when they looked supplemented group, non-supplemented group. They couldn't see much additional excretion, which pretty much meant it was neither affecting excretion or uptake. And if there was more being produced, where was it? So yeah, pretty much that's a busted. Most people have not seen either one of those studies, and it's probably the reason why that myth still persists within the naturopathic community.
I think
Now, the
there's
other
another
thing
reason.
about what's that?
Well, I've seen a lot of supplements going around where they sort of balance the zinc and copper. So people are trying to get more of one thing than the other. They think, well, I need to take a bit more of this to balance it out, but they're just taking in more minerals, but still having the same balance. So if they are deficient in one and having too much in because they're eating in excess of one particular food product, then they're just counteracting that whole possible benefit by taking the supplement.
Yeah, I think taking a supplement actually can cause more problems
Especially
because taking something in a food matrix is a bit different. And when it comes in a food matrix, it's in such a way where you like supplements. Usually, it's like it's the reason why the way a lot of supplements work. They rapidly come into the system far more rapidly than a natural food matrix type approach. Where in a food matrix, you will get small amounts, like meat. You'll slowly break it down in your stomach as you're digesting it with digestive fluids over 4 hours. So that's one reason why you get satiety, because it just takes so damn long to break down proteins into simple amino acids and fatty acids, the fats into fatty acids. So then you can start absorbing them. So it takes a while, and that's the satiety factor that is playing a role there. So as that stuff comes through, it comes through slowly in small amounts. That's why the uptake of proteins is much higher from real food. You don't end up in the bowl as much because you're getting it in quantities, and then metalloproteins that are all these peptides sort of that are along the enteric system. The gut wall, so to speak. Let me use non-scientific terms. The gut wall, they will basically pick up certain types of minerals, and your body will know, well, we need this, so we'll pick up that. We need that. We need more of this or that, and it usually works in that sort of regard. When you overload it with one, that's when you can actually create a deficiency of others. So that's why I don't encourage people to supplement magnesium or these sort of things, because they're not getting it in the right small amounts coming through, taken up in the amount at a normal physiological uptake, what's expected naturally to be uptaken. Because at the end of the day, if you're getting enough taurine, you're actually if you're not getting enough in of a certain mineral, actually the body will recycle it back in and hold on to it.
Yeah.
As long as you're not drinking a lot of water and dumping electrolytes or minerals, ions, and you've upregulated your antidiuretic hormones, which all normal mammals do. Even in nature, you don't see animals really drinking much water. They basically live off fat. They hydrate via fat, and their urine is quite darker, very yellowy. You look at any animal. I've heard it goats, and I know their urine is very dark yellow. So ours tend to be quite light, and mine tends to be still on the lightish side. It's still a bit of yellow, but on the lightish side. And I put it down to even the couple of cups of coffee that I have a day is enough. That extra hydration that I'm taking in, exogenous, is enough to basically dilute my urine. So it's not as, where when I was doing my sort of dry fasts, it took me until the third day before my urine started looking anything like those goats, where it was a deeper yellow. And even then, it didn't really get to that level. And I was surprised. I said, damn, I've been doing it for 3.5 days. What the hell's going on? Why isn't it actually? I was just urinating very small amounts because you didn't have to. The body was filtering out, recycling the actual water and holding on to the water since you weren't taking in any. And you're releasing just enough physiological as you were breaking down and producing water by breaking down fats, and you're releasing any excess that the body didn't need. That's how the body's supposed to work. That's how it is supposed to homeostatically be regulated. So yeah, I really find that a lot of people supplementing are wasting a lot of money on stuff and causing themselves more derangements and problems in the long run and not improving their health. The best thing to do is reduce your water intake slowly, not quickly, because you need time to adjust. And if you're not fat adapted, you will end up dehydrating yourself because you can't produce water endogenous if you're not fully fat adapted. So you have to make sure you're fat adapted, and you'll know very quickly. And the easiest way of actually realizing that is when you go do a dry fast and your energy just drops like mad, you know immediately you're not fat adapted, because you should go into a dry fast from a low ketotic state and have no drop in energy. On the opposite, your energy should go slightly up. That will tell you quite clearly you're not fat adapted sufficiently or able to switch over to, increasing the release of free fatty acids and fat into the system for energy. So you'll realize that very quickly. So if you're in that sort of state, then yeah, you can very easily drop the water. And look, when you drop water, and I usually say to people, drop it slowly, not rapidly. If you're drinking, a couple of liters, drop it to 1.5 liters, then drop it to a liter, then drop it to half a liter. And so as you drop it down, what will happen is your body will adjust. You have to give it a couple of weeks to adjust, at those lower settings. But eventually you'll get to the stage where the body's going, okay, less water's coming in. I need to conserve a bit more water and dump less. And it starts upregulating the antidiuretic hormones. That's how it works. And if you get enough taurine in there, it regulates it perfectly. That whole mechanism. Obviously, getting it from food is the best, but as we said, we don't live ancestrally, and we do have a lot of things that actually deplete our sulfur amino acids, unfortunately. So do keep that in mind. I think a lot of us are throwing away good money, which we could use for holidays and many other things. Computer games. Yes, I can go with that one. Then basically wasting it on friggin' mineral supplements.